What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chaotic Minds. As always, it is Winged.
And the midget.
And the midget is in a little bit of pain.
A lot of bit of pain. I actually wanted to do the episode today, even though we were going to take the week off because I did have surgery on Thursday, and it is now Saturday.
Yeah. Otherwise, we would have gotten this episode out sooner. But you were pretty out of it.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of days. You were finally getting to a point where you're not 100%, but at least over 40.
Yeah, I'm right around 60-70% good right now. Like, still having quite a bit of pain because of the stitches, but, nothing as bad as Thursday.
Yeah.
And Friday. So far, the start of today is going good.
Yeah. So what we're going to do this week...
to make it easier on me.
To make it easier on you, and because we are going to take next week off. Because...
Graduation.
Yep, we have a kiddo who's graduating. We are going to do our typical end of the month Reddit. I know that really hasn't been...
End of the month all the time.
Yeah. Especially here recently.
Whenever we feel like doing it.
Yep. But we are going to do a Reddit, or the...
Am I the asshole?
Yeah, we're going to be doing some of those today.
Yeah.
Just because one, like we said, it's easier on you, and two, it sounds like fun.
Yep.
So, this first one you actually chose, and
I wanted to read this one because it's kind of close.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of close.
Oh yeah.
Says, am I the asshole for getting a kid suspended because he shared details about my mental health?
Yes. No, you're not the asshole. The other kid is.
I, 15 female, have been struggling with my mental health for quite a while now. I am quite an open person with my friends and will often spill my heart out to my friends. I met this guy, 15 male, who I'll call Cass, 3 years ago. We were friends and I often vented to him and told him all my struggles. Now, Cass has never really been a serious person and often jokes about mental health issues even if he doesn't struggle with them. That's kind of jacked up in itself, but anyway.
Well, I mean, I
digress.
I struggle, but I also make jokes.
Yeah, so there's a difference between self-deprecating humor and not knowing what the hell you're talking about.
True.
Anyway, last week I heard that he was discussing my mental health with people and I'm not particularly close with. Instead of going straight to him, I decided to tell my year coordinator. She said that she will pull him aside and discuss it with him. After chatting with our year coordinator, he decided he was going to tell everyone I snitched on him for no reason. Mind you that multiple people reported him for joking about mental health, and my name was never mentioned when he was pulled aside. Basically, he just assumed it was you because you're the only one he, quote-unquote, knows with mental health issues.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
A few days later, he muttered, snitched to me, and I turned around and yelled at him. I called him a couple of names that weren't okay, and when I discussed this with my year coordinator, I made sure to tell her about what I said and that I know it wasn't okay. My friends had also revealed other stuff he had done, like telling people that I'm autistic without my permission. Now, I discussed me being autistic quite openly, and my mental health struggles are also quite obvious, but that doesn't give him the right to discuss it without my permission.
Oh.
My year coordinator pulled him out of class and called his dad to have a discussion about his mental health and talking about others. He was told he wasn't suspended, and when I got home that day, he messaged me saying I had ruined his life and that I should deal with my own issues and not involve him. I took a photo of the message, not even replying, and blocked him. Then I sent it to my year coordinator and she suspended him immediately. My intent was never to get him suspended, just to get him to stop joking about my mental health. But he got suspended and apparently now has to move schools. I feel like if I just ignored him instead of reporting him, this wouldn't have happened. However, my mental health is quite personal and I don't like people talking about it, especially without my permission. I don't know. Am I the asshole? Personally, I don't think she is.
I don't think so either.
Like, your struggles are your struggles, and if you entrust your struggles to others by speaking about your struggles or your mental health or your autism or whatever the case may be, you entrust them with that information and don't want them discussing it with others without coming to you first. And I get that. But so overall, they're saying not the asshole, but some of the comments are kind of interesting.
Okay. How so?
So, this sci-fi guy 80 said, "Not the asshole." It doesn't sound like he was suspended for talking about your mental health. What he did get suspended for was bullying and harassment. That's all on him.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And it says, somebody commented on that, says, exactly, he's a bully and has doubled down at every point. You did nothing wrong here. He is aggravated by his own actions, not the asshole. Like, there's only a couple of comments on this one, but it just kind of, there's another one that says, not the asshole. You share personal information with a close friend, and he told it to others. It's not your fault he got suspended. It's his. Like, pretty much everybody is saying along the lines of the same thing. This one says, not the asshole. Teachers are supposed to protect kids. We routinely pull kids aside for spreading rumors. Online bullying is an automatic suspension. Good job advocating for yourself. It actually makes the school safer for all students.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just like...
Here's the thing that I attest to. Somebody else's business is not yours. They can go ahead and sit there and vent to you, and they can tell you their problems and tell you their innermost thoughts and whatnot. But unless they specifically tell you to go ahead and talk about it with other people, or they give you the express permission to talk about it with other people, that's none of your business. You should not be going ahead and telling other people your problems, right?
Yeah.
And granted, I made that mistake, when I was a little bit younger, shortly after I moved out here. And I realized that I had fucked up, and I immediately went ahead and apologized, to the person. They weren't happy. They still aren't happy about it. But, it is what it is. I did my part. I apologized. I talked to both parties and, let them know that wasn't my story to tell, But typically, like, you tell me something, I don't say nothing.
Yeah.
If somebody else tells me something, I don't say anything unless they sit there and they're like, can you help me with this?
Yeah.
And then I will clarify with them, do you mind if I talk about it with the person that you're having this issue with?
Yeah. So there's a comment on here, and it's a little bit longer of a comment than just a little blip, but it actually shows that people have thoughts in their head.
Okay.
It says, after writing my original comment, I went back and reread the story. It seems his jokes about your mental health have impacted others, and it's likely his actions over a long period of time and multiple complaints caused this. So even though the timing indicates that your evidence caused it, there's probably more to it, not the asshole. And then it goes on and says, you're not responsible for his suspension. This is the original comment that the person left. You're not responsible for his suspension. The school is. I think they overreacted based on the information you've given, but there could be more to the story. It may be that he was suspended because similar things have happened before and others have been hurt by this behavior. It could be that this was like third warning. It's not your fault. It's between him and the school. Info. When discussing your mental health, did he share info you do publicly, or did he share details you confided with him? Did he make negative comments about your condition or share information that you don't openly share, i.e. info you've never posted about online? As a fellow autistic person, sometimes social stuff is hard. If you're openly autistic, that's a common thing people know. Within social rules, it's considered okay to discuss in passing. My friend Greg is having a hard time being autistic. This is overwhelming. And it says things you've confided in a friend and common things you've shared are different. Because you've shared publicly about your autism, I don't see what's bad about him talking about it, unless there's more to the story or what he's saying about it was bad. the OP actually commented on this one, which is why I wanted to read it. It says, it was more of him telling people about my unhealthy coping strategies and saying that I deserve to have bad mental health because I apparently trash talk about him all the time, which isn't true. He was saying it to all of his friends and anyone who could have overheard. That's how I found out. So, yeah,
So this kid was talking shit and found out.
Yep.
Or and got found out.
Yep.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
deserves it.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I don't hate to say that, but he deserves it.
But the common thing is not the asshole. Nobody thinks that guy is the asshole.
Yep, that OP is the asshole?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, nobody thinks that she's the asshole. Everybody thinks he is, pretty much. So.
Well, he is.
And I mean, even that commenter was like, I made this comment, and they left their original comment up there so that they had accountability, and that's what I liked. They edited it and added to it instead of erasing what they had before, so that they could see the change.
One thing that I will give OP props for is they admitted that they had said things that they shouldn't have.
Yeah, and that's huge, especially nowadays. People don't admit to what the wrongdoing they have. Yeah. They don't take accountability for their actions. They just pretty much they are the ones that did wrong, and I called them names and all this, that, and the other, but that was in reaction to him doing wrong, so I shouldn't be in trouble. No, that's not how this works.
Nope.
Anyway, I mean, I say not the asshole. Public says not the asshole. You say not the asshole.
Yeah, I've already made my decision.
Yeah, definitely not the asshole, OP. The bully is.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you should tell him our phrase, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
And why would he have to move schools? That's the thing that gets me.
Because his reputation is ruined.
Snowflake. Anyways. Moving on.
All right.
What story do you want to do next?
So, I have one. Am I the asshole for telling my son his former in-laws owe him nothing after the things he said to them?
Okay. I'm going to reserve judgment because that sounds a little convoluted.
Okay. My son, Aaron, 46 male, has been married twice. His first wife, Sadie, passed away 7 years ago. They shared 3 children who were 5, 7, and 8 at the time of Sadie's death. His second wife is Haley, 42 female, and he shares 2 children with Haley who are 3 and 8 months old. Sadie's family were very supportive after Sadie died, and they were very understanding more than a year later when Aaron started dating again. But my son fucked up the good dynamic and told Sadie's family that he was going to find a wife who would adopt the children, and he would stop Sadie's family from seeing them if they were anything less than supportive. He told them once he found the right woman, Sadie was not to be mentioned around the kids, and whoever didn't like that could fuck off. My son has brought this up to my husband and I before he spoke to Sadie's family. We tried to make him see that he didn't need to give the kids a mom, and he shouldn't seek out a wife for that purpose alone. We warned him that he was risking the relationship with Sadie's family and with his children who miss their mom very much and still do. We tried reassuring him that he was enough, but he dismissed us and said these things to Sadie's family. And then he found Haley, and she
That's
wanted...
fucked up.
Yep. Then he found Haley, and she wanted to adopt the children, but it did not happen. Nothing happened like Aaron planned. Sadie's parents were awarded grandparents' visitation, and the adoption failed because the children weren't okay with it, and the judge said he would not force an adoption on grieving children. Now Aaron has 2 more children, and he's not okay with those children not having the same love and affection from Sadie's family, or the same monetary gifts that they can afford to give their grandchildren. He told them he would defy the court order if they didn't take the other 2 children into their family, and got a lawyer responding in place of the grandparents with steps they would take if he defied the court ruling. He attempted to get the kids to ask their grandparents, but he ruined his relationship with them by trying to force the adoption. The relationship between his older 3 and younger 2 does not exist, really. They have shown no signs of caring for their half-siblings, and I fully blame my son for that, and Haley for going along with. He vented and ranted to me the other day about Sadie's family not thinking of his 2 younger children and being unreasonable in refusing to play a part in the lives of his younger kids. He said they were even spoiling family days he and Haley had planned by taking the kids before they could go with them. He told me they owe it to him as Sadie's husband to work with him. I told him he was wrong there. They owe him nothing after the things he said to them, and he needs to accept this is what we warned him about. He snapped at me saying I was not seeing things clearly and was not supporting him as any mother should. Am I the asshole?
No.
Nope. And I have such a visceral reaction behind this.
That's part of the reason why I was like, oh, this one sounds good.
Because when I was younger, my mom, my sister, and I were adopted by my dad. Wonderful man. Got rocks for brains at times. But still, he was a good dad. His parents, at least from what I can tell, at bare minimum, his mom, my grandma, hated the fact that he was playing the part as a stepdad or a dad to me and my sister, who were not
treat
his
you the same biologically,
and would treat me especially like absolute and total garbo because I was the oldest male, and it wasn't her biological grandson who my dad had with a previous girlfriend before he met my mom. That child was no longer the oldest male child from my dad. Instead, I was, and treated me like crap. Now, from what it sounds like, the parents of the dead wife are doing something similar, but reverse from what my situation was. They're paying attention to the younger 3 or the older 3, but not really paying attention to the younger 2.
Yes.
And I can see why.
Yeah, part of the biggest thing for me is, like, you had a wife, she passed away. Tragic, okay? You met your new girlfriend, she became your wife, you had more children.
He was looking for a woman
to adopt,
to love and adopt his children
as their own, which is noble, which is great.
Which is a great thing.
But that doesn't mean you cut their biological family out.
Well, that's the thing. At first, he was like, I'm going to do this and find a new mother for my kids, and if you don't like it, you can fuck off.
Yeah, he pushed his dead wife's family away. No. You keep them around. They're still your kids' grandparents, like regardless.
My great-grandmother, my mum, from my paternal side, my sperm donor, went ahead, and even though my younger 3 brothers weren't related, to her, she would always make sure that they had stuff for Christmas. Yep. And my mom didn't look at my mum as like, I'm going to marry this guy, he's going to adopt my kids, yada, 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 yada. You have to deal with it. No, my mom was like, hey, I'm dating this guy. Okay. And then when they got married, hey, I'm getting married. Okay. Hey, we're expecting. Okay.
And when
because
he adopted
they were my
you
siblings.
Guys, and the thing is, he adopted you guys and is raising them as your own, but they didn't turn around and be like, sorry, since they're not buyers anymore, we can't, you're not going to be a part of their life.
No.
But
this guy went ahead and was like, oh, you need to do this.
And it's like he was trying to erase his wife's memory.
Or else you're not going to be a part of anything. And they're like, all right. Then we won't be a part of anything.
Bet.
And then he wants to get upset with him about it?
Like,
no, bro.
Grandparents' rights are a thing.
You brought that shit up on your own.
Grandparents' rights are a thing, and that's the thing. Is like, you are trying to erase those children's mother from their life.
And
that's wrong.
The messed up part about it is You didn't want to talk about her, but these kids are old enough to remember their mother.
Yeah. If they were young enough, I could see.
Like the youngest was 5.
Yeah.
When the mom passed away.
If they were like 1, 2 years old, barely have a memory of their mother, I could see, her adopting them and them still being able to see family, grandparents, all that stuff. But I cannot see, especially them being old enough to remember their mother, forcing. The judge made the right call and not allowing the adoption to be forced, because the judge will ask the child if they want so-and-so to adopt them.
Asked me 3 separate times.
And they will make sure of that every time. And this judge made the right call. The kids are like, no, we don't want this. And the judge is like, sorry, it's not going to happen. And Dad, I can guarantee you, the first thing words out of Dad's mouth were, well, they're too young to decide this.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is what you're doing is wrong. You're trying to force them to, like, have another mother. They had a mother who died tragically. Okay? They remember her. They will always remember her. And not only are you trying to erase her from their life, you're trying to erase the entire family from their life.
Well, if they weren't going to be supportive.
And that's fucked up. Like, I can understand him wanting them to be supportive. That I can see. It's like your mom being like, okay, we're getting married. Okay. We're having a kid. Okay. She was supportive. She probably was like, I don't understand why he has to adopt you guys.
Oh, no,
but she didn't voice that and make it a big deal.
So she was like, my mom and dad did talk to her about it. And by this point, he being my sperm donor, had been out, had abandoned us. And, from what I picked up, and I haven't asked directly, but from what I picked up, my mom was like, are you going to take care of these kids like they're your own? Or are you going to love my grandkids like they're your own? And, like, grilled him on it.
And that's what grandparents do. That's what they should do. They want to make sure their grandkids are going to be safe. But the thing is, like, even if she would have been, like, 100% on board, the kids still wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And the judge would have made the same decision.
You can't force a relationship, whether it's
at all
a romantic one, whether it's a platonic one, whether it's a familiar one. You can't force a relationship.
You can be biologically related to somebody and they're complete strangers to you.
Hi.
Exactly.
Because if you try to force it,
it's going to be so much
the
worse.
only thing that's going to happen is resentment. Plain and simple. Resentment is going to build. They ain't going to want to do nothing. And they're just going to be like, nah, fuck you and the horse you rode in on and that couch over there.
Exactly. It's like you can't force that relationship, and you can't force them to get over their dead mother. Sorry. Yep. And that's exactly what it sounds like the dad is trying to do.
Oh, yeah.
Is to force the kids to get over their dead mother.
Yep.
And that's where you become the asshole.
So, some comments. First comment.
Opie is not the asshole, by the way.
Yeah. First comment. Jesus, you should have asked if your son was the asshole, because that would have been so in the nose is not funny. He fucked everything up something fierce, but somehow it is always someone else's fault. I know the type. There is no changing their delusion, but you are not obligated to participate in it, so not the asshole. If he feels obliged to speak his delusional truth to you, it is only fair that you speak your own truth to him. Fuck.
Talk about hitting the nail on the head on that one. That comment is probably one of the best comments I've heard on since we started doing these.
Somebody else. According to OP's son, a mother is something that is easily replaced and quickly forgotten. So he can just pretend. So he can just pretend somebody other than OP is his mother and get support for his idiotic and sadistic behavior from them.
Oh, that's fucked up. Oh my God, that's great. Yeah. 100% agree with that.
Somebody responded to that. I kind of face palmed at this part. As a mother, you are supposed to support him no matter what. while kicking the memory of his children's mother out the door as soon as she was stiff and underground. What a vile piece of meat that son is. Somebody responded to that. Absolutely this. He really lacked all empathy to not see how it might be distressing to his mother to see him disrespect the memory of his own children's mother. Glad the grandparents had their shit together and are ensuring these poor kids know that they are still loved and wanted.
Right. Thank God there's some intelligence in that gene pool.
And then last comment that I'm going to read. OMG, what egregiously entitled asshole O. These poor kids are going to be all kinds of fucked up. I am so sorry. Please excuse my French. Wholeheartedly agreed. OP is not the asshole.
Wow. Okay.
That first one. Holy shit. Oh, man. All right.
I think I want to read another one.
Okay.
It's am I the asshole for not sharing my meal?
Okay.
This one kind of embodiment. Okay. Just, I am a very fat woman in my mid-30s. I love cooking and baking, and I love to share. I often bring things to work for people to share. Well, I gained 20 kilos last 2 years, and I decided I really need to take better care of myself. I found a new doctor, nutritionist, and a trainer a few weeks ago, and I'm now following the regime they set for me. I have gluten intolerance, lactose intolerance, eggs, seafood, celery allergy, so it's not exactly easy to cook for me, but I worked with nutritionist, and she has made a menu for me for every day of the month.
I am lactose intolerant.
With amount of food and everything, calories counted. I spend a lot of time cooking every day, and I'm bringing food to work with me in Tupperware. The thing is that according to the doctor, I ate really wrong. I was all the time dieting and didn't eat enough necessary nutrients. So the nutritionist prescribed me big portions, especially when it comes to proteins, because she wants me to exchange fat for muscles. So to the issue. I brought a Tupperware salad, some potatoes, and meat with sauce to work. The meat was cut in 4 to 5 pieces to fit in the Tupperware, and when I warmed it up, I sat and started to eat. My coworker came to me and asked if she could have 1 or 2 pieces of the meat and a bit of potatoes because it smelled heavenly, and I always bring cooked stuff to the office. I told her no, that it's my lunch and I have set amount of calorie intake, so I'm sorry, but no. She looked at me and told me I don't need this big of a portion and I should share with her because it would help me. I told her sorry, but no, and kept eating. She scoffed and left me alone. But since then, she and her work BF kept making fun of me for eating like a pig. And that's not very effective weight losing since I'm still a fatty. So, am I the asshole? For all the people with terrible need to give me health and weight loss advice, keep it to yourselves. I am taken care of by professionals. Thanks. Edit. I'm not going to send anybody a photo of my body. Please stop DMing me.
Chubby chasers are real.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. A lot of people...
Wait. I have a judgment. I am ready to pass my judgment.
Okay.
OP.
Not
the asshole. Sorry, I want to do like Maury.
Yeah. So here's my thing. A lot of people don't realize that dieting isn't always about small portions.
Right.
It's about eating the right amounts of each food group. And for somebody who is a chronic dieter and only eats small portions of everything and they're not getting the proper balance of nutrients, it's going to be a lot harder for them to lose the weight.
Because your body goes into, and this is something that
starvation mode.
This is something that I learned when I was trying to figure out, dieting and all that. Your body goes into starvation mode, and it holds on to everything. And when you finally do break and you eat, you gorge yourself on food.
Not only that, but the first thing your body attacks is the fat cells, which is great. Sounds great, right? The first thing your body attacks when it's in starvation mode is the fat cells. But as soon as you eat something, then it holds on to every sugar, every carb that is in that food.
Yep.
And it comes back worse.
Yep.
So anyway,
I mean, that's why I liked the keto diet that you had put me on.
High protein.
Was because I was still getting the protein.
Low
I was still
carbs.
getting the same serving size, but it was protein rather than carbohydrates. And I was losing weight, and then it just got real expensive.
Well, it wasn't even the fact that it was real expensive because we could afford that. It was the fact that the lady that was seeing you at the doctor's office was like, you need to really ask the doctor about a diet before you just put him on a diet.
How about you kiss the whitest side of my ass?
How about I know a lot more about diabetes management than you do.
Yeah, but like, I would love to, and I'm going to say this, get ready for a heart attack. I would not mind going back on that keto diet.
That means no more teriyaki madness.
Not true.
Rice is a no-no on keto
ways,
diet.
There are ways around it. You can get a protein bowl. They
Okay.
have the option for protein bowl.
Okay.
I know what I'm doing.
Anyway, but, you know, a lot of people don't realize that. And then they look at people that are eating all this food and they're like, you're fat. You shouldn't be eating all that food.
Well, the other thing that you got to take into consideration, too, is that, like, even if you're on a diet, you need a cheat day. Just one day where you have something that you ain't supposed to.
If you plan a cheat day every week, say you set out your week and you're like, okay, my cheat day is going to be Saturday because it's my first day off.
My cheat day is Friday, so that way I can have teriyaki madness.
Anyway, so you plan a cheat day, you're less likely to fail on the diet.
Yeah. My cheat day is Friday because I can have teriyaki madness.
Yeah, but you still want to sort of stick to what you can.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it's like, oh,
But
Pete,
no,
you're not the asshole. The lady in the office that is making fun of you and how much you're eating is the asshole, because if she would actually rub the two brain cells together that she has, or go see a nutritionist herself, she'd probably realize that you were told to eat that way.
That lady's brain cells are, she has 2 brain cells left and they're both competing for 3rd place. I'm just gonna put it that way. Because, like, how are you gonna sit there and be like, well, you don't need to be eating that much? Then bring your own fucking food, you bitch.
It's like, it's the
Go
entitlement.
down the street.
See, and that's the thing. It's also entitlement, because she's always shared food before. She loves to cook. She loves to, obviously she loves to eat. She said it herself. She's a fatty. Like, she, literally used to bring food to share and everything else. So
and
this
people
person
got
became
so
entitled.
used to it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm imagining that this person is either in Canada or Britain. And the reason why I say the two reasons why I say that. One, sentences are very well put together. So English is a native language. And 2, the kilos thing, right? Go down the street to a store and buy your own fucking food, you bitch. They get an hour for lunch.
Yeah.
We have to beg and plead and borrow in order to get an hour for lunch at any place that we work out here. Fuck off.
We're lucky if we get 30 minutes for lunch.
Well, that's us.
Yeah.
But fuck off. Go down the street, buy your own damn food. Or if you want homemade cooking that bad, ask for the recipe. Make your own damn food, you bitch.
And I have to say one more thing about her edit. Please stop soliciting people for pictures of their body.
Chubby chases are real.
Like, seriously.
So bunny trail. There is 2 fetishes that come to mind in this. One, there is the chubby chaser fetish.
And the watching people eat fetish.
Nope. inflation fetish. Where people, I like it when people get inflated, and they start looking floofed all over.
Yeah.
It's that. So you go beat off to some fucking balloons for all I care.
Yeah, it's like stop soliciting people for pictures of themselves,
Seriously.
especially like with her, she openly admits that she struggles with her weight and that she's a very fat woman. Like,
you may
seriously?
think that you are trying to do something to bolster her confidence in herself. You can think that you're trying to do something good for this woman. You're not. You're making it weird.
I only like you because you're fat.
You're making it weird. Stop being weird.
So, one of the things, one of the comments that was made is not the asshole. Does your company have an HR department that can report them for harassment and hostile work environment? And she says, we do have HR, but the best friend she's making fun of me with is the head of it.
No.
Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, there's one that says, not the asshole. First of all, you've been prescribed these meals from a nutritionist and your doctor. But even if she didn't know that, it's not your duty to share whatever food you have with whoever asks. You should not even have to explain this. No is a full sentence. Beyond that, the fact that they tell you you eat like a pig or make fun of you is far beyond what is acceptable, that you really need to take this to HR pronto.
Yeah.
And I mean, somebody said, little problem, apparently one of the bullies is the head of HR. Like,
Yeah.
Seriously. And that's there's one that says, it's very short and sweet and to the point. It says, not the asshole. It took you years to put the weight on, and it will take you years to take all the weight off. Follow your program and just stick to your no.
Okay, so, correction, she's Slavic. OP is Slavic. I went ahead and I read down. I like the comment, it is great. I am fatty as opposed to I am a fatty. And then she wanted to know what the difference is. And, like, one is saying, like, I am for adjective, so I am tall. But if it's a noun, that needs the article, so it's I am a cyclist or I am an idiot. The word fatty would generally be understood as a noun. So, like, her saying I am fatty is like, I'm bigger, but I'm not claiming it. I'm not allowing it to control me.
And this one says, of course you're not the asshole. It takes some nerve to ask, much less demand, that someone share their lunch.
For real.
You make a nice lunch for yourself, even without the issues surrounding your diet. There is no reason for you to share with a casual workplace acquaintance. Unless you work in a very tiny office, you'd have none for yourself if you shared with everyone. It doesn't matter if you're fat, skinny, losing weight, or gaining weight. Your food is your food. You aren't the office's caterer. Like, this is one that kind of stuck out to me, that, like, this person understands. It says, not the asshole. I hear you. I was eating wrong for many years and also piled on the weight. It was only after I tested for intolerances, I started intermittent fasting and counted calories, I came to the realization that I was indeed not eating enough. For dinner, I had to plate up 100 to 200 grams of lean protein, a small potato, and bulk up the rest of my plate to reach approximately 500 calories for that meal. When I finished loading my plate, I thought, whoa, that's a lot of food. However, eating correct portions and or nutrient-dense foods meant I was not getting hungry as often, and this led to me consuming less calories per day. Your coworker is an asshole. First, who the fuck asks a coworker for their food? I've been working for a really long time, and I've never asked or had a coworker ask me for my food. If it wasn't offered, you stuck to your own lunch. Report the cow to HR or your manager. This type of behavior is not cool. And this says, right, it looks like a shitload of food, but it's the truth. I'm eating 5 meals per day, and I don't have cravings, and I feel much more full of energy. Like, it's like, wow.
Yeah. Outpouring of support. Ultimately, not the asshole.
So this one, keep in mind, this is a smart-ass comment. says you're the asshole for obvious reasons. You should never ever warm up anything that smells good without being willing to feed anyone else in the office, or frankly in the neighborhood you live in. Extremely selfish. You should also cook enough for everyone around. Nutritionists are just conspiracy theorists, and you should never listen to them. Obviously not the asshole. Your coworkers suck. Like, I love the fact that he was like smart ass with that.
No, you know what you do? Next time, you just bring in fish.
Oh, yeah.
Nuke
Warm that
fish.
shit up. Ew. But that punishes the rest of the office.
It calls attention to a problem.
Oh. Anyway, not the asshole, OP.
Nope.
Good luck on your weight loss journey.
You got this, mama.
You got it.
All right. So,
Moving on. Your turn.
am I the asshole? I don't know why I'm
Yes, you're
Southern
the
when
asshole.
I say that.
Oh.
For not letting my neighbors use my backyard. My partner and I, female 30s, just got some new neighbors. They moved in about a month ago. We met them briefly. They are a couple around our age and have a daughter who might be 4 or 5 and a dog. We have our backyard fully fenced in with a privacy fence. Their yard doesn't. I was out front last weekend when the couple came up our driveway and started chatting. They mentioned that they were on a waiting list to get their yard fenced in, but were told it would be a few months. They said they would really like their daughter and dog to have a place to run around, but didn't feel comfortable with the lack of fence as our neighborhood backs up to a wooded area and a creek. They asked if they could borrow our backyard for a few hours a day so that way they can let everyone run worry-free. I immediately didn't like this, but I told them I would think about it. I talked to my partner and we both agreed that this wasn't a good idea. We have 2 dogs ourselves and they can be a tad protective of their yard. One of them also doesn't love kids and the other one can be a tad dog selective. Because of this, we would have to coordinate when we would let our dogs out, and that's not something that we want to deal with. There are just too many things that could go wrong. Plus that good old American worry that if someone got hurt, we could get sued. The guy stopped by again on Wednesday and asked if we had given it any thought. I told him that we had discussed it, and unfortunately it wasn't going to work out with our dogs and their schedule, so we wouldn't be able to accommodate them. He immediately got sour and said it was nice to know how neighborly we were. He left abruptly, but I could hear him muttering under his
Oh,
breath.
suck a dick, dude.
Him and his wife made a big show of snuffing us the last couple of days. My partner said they will get over it, and while I'm not going to reconsider, I do feel kind of guilty. Am I the asshole for not letting our new neighbors use our yard? Just so everyone knows, our gate is locked and we have cameras.
Yeah.
No, you're not the asshole at all.
You're not
That's
the
your
asshole
fucking
at
shit.
Like I said, tell your neighbor to consume a bag of Richards. That's my new favorite phrase now since I saw that meme.
I'll just suck a dick.
Suck a dick, suck a
So
dick,
the
suck a
problem
dick.
the problem here is that they don't want to wait. Here's the counter to that. Too fucking bad. There
Yeah.
are ways that you can put your dog outside so that way they have plenty of room to run around.
They have
It's
those thing called a lead.
Bury-in lead. It's a spike that goes into
Twisty.
the ground that has a long ass
Lead.
like,
Does it say
cable.
what kind of dog
No.
it is? Well,
It just said
regardless.
a 4 or 5-year-old and a dog.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. They have different size anchors for different size dogs. They have little ones for small furry objects suitable for punting, and then they have bigger ones for actual dogs.
Or alternatively, if you're that concerned about the lead getting pulled up, you take you dig a hole, you put the lead in, you fill that bitch with concrete, you
It
let that
ain't
shit
going nowhere.
cure, and guess what? It ain't going fuck anywhere.
Yeah,
I've done that before.
so have we.
But the leads come with like a long ass fucking cord
yeah.
cable that can reach everywhere in a decent sized yard.
Yeah, and there are
It
ways.
allows them to run around. and all
Exactly.
that. Like when I was living back home and we had our dog Molly, she had a lead out front, right? And it
Yeah.
was by a tree and all of that. And we buried that bitch right by the tree. That thing that lead had enough reach on it that she could reach into the driveway, on the borderline of our neighbor's yard, down to the street, and when she would come in, we would bring the lead inside and like close the door on it, and it still had room, so that way we could hook up the dog before we opened the door, so that way we didn't have to worry about her getting out and getting free.
Yep.
Like, they make leads like this for a reason.
Hell, we attached them to the pole of the porch at the old house for Haven.
And as for the daughter, right? And we're worried that she's gonna go into the woods and yada yada yada.
How about keeping an eye on your daughter?
How about entertaining your daughter and playing with her, you dumb bitch?
Seriously.
But no, like, how are you gonna sit there and get pissy because they won't let me use their property? They're not being very neighborly. Being neighborly is coming over and being like, hey, neighbor, can I borrow a cup of sugar? Or, hey, do you mind if I borrow your lawnmower?
Hey, I noticed
that's if you're real close to them.
I noticed your fence got damaged in the last storm. Do you want some help fixing it, or do you have somebody taking care of it?
Or
being polite,
hey,
courteous.
Do you have a screwdriver I can borrow? That's being neighborly.
No,
being
next
entitled is, let me use your yard.
No, next thing you know, this person's going to be demanding, let me use your wife.
I mean, this comes back to, it's a very similar line of thought as those people who were, their yard was getting broke into, so that way this person's kids could swim in their pool. Yeah,
the one that kept breaking into the backyard. Yeah.
Like, that's no, if you think that something's gonna happen, you go up to your second floor. You buy yourself a paintball gun. You go up to your second floor, and the second anybody comes near your fucking fence, you pop the fence with paintballs.
Wait for them to get inside your fence first, because then you can shoot them.
Not a 4 or 5-year-old. Not for a 4 or 5-year-old. Teenager? Sure. Fucking light them up.
I'll suck about the parents, because if the parents are going with her, then light them up.
They wouldn't be going with.
If they
just want to be able to release their beasts into the wild and be like,
yeah, no. And let them go into the forest.
The fairies will take care of them better.
Right?
So
they'd be raised better by wolves.
Yeah. Comments. Not the asshole. Borrow your yard for a few months? That's an easy, hard no. Your neighbor's request was ridiculous. Here's an idea. Supervise your dog and your young child while they're outside, like responsible pet owners and parents.
Yeah.
They commented to that. The OP commented with that. I think they wanted to use it more during the day when the husband was at work and it was just one parent on duty, so she didn't have to wrangle both of them. Like, I get it, but still, I didn't want to bear that responsibility or headache. Let's see. At least they know up front that these neighbors are just going to be difficult. Pouting after having a ridiculous request refused is just cheeky. I get that people think that there's no harm in asking, but the reaction isn't encouraging. And this is probably them on their best behavior, trying to make a good first impression.
Yeah. Dude, you might as well just ask them if you could borrow their wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
Let's see. Somebody else.
OP is definitely not the asshole.
Last comment that I'm going to read. Nah, you don't owe them anything. The audacity of him to say that's not neighborly of you. I would have rebutted with, actually, since you mentioned it, I was wondering if I can come over and use your kitchen for the next few months because we're going to renovate ours. I hope you don't mind. It's a neighborly thing to do.
I'd cook fish every day in there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or Limburger cheese. Wouldn't even eat the Limburger. I'd just let it sit out on the counter.
I've never had Limburger.
It's disgusting. It
I
tastes like
try
feet.
It. Just once. I'm willing to try anything. I want to try Limburger.
Stick your foot in your mouth.
I can't bend that far. I'm fat.
Stick my foot in your mouth.
I'm not putting your foot in my mouth because you wear those nasty-ass flip-flops and you turn your feet black.
Yeah. That's exactly how Limburger tastes.
Anyways. Am I the asshole for refusing to split the cost of a surprise trip for my birthday after we broke up?
No.
Me, 25 female, and my boyfriend James, 27 male, have been together about 1.5 years and are long distance right now. Before this, he was a great boyfriend, and we had discussed getting married. I was a post-grad student, so he was the breadwinner when we met, until I graduated and landed a job that pays more than he earns. We have always split our expenses proportional to income, with me now paying more. I had a big falling out with James last month after our mutual friend Jane, 26 female, divorced our other friend Dan, 24 male, after finding out he had an affair. The four of us are part of a bigger friend group made of couples, and our friend group split when Jane found out that some of them knew about Dan's affair and kept quiet. I didn't know of the affair and was upset when I found James knew about Dan's affair and kept it a secret out of loyalty to Dan. His lack of morals and genuine confusion at why Jane doesn't want to be friends with him or why I am upset over his actions is why we broke up. James doesn't understand why I'm making a big deal over this, and for weeks after we broke up begged me to reconsider. It has been really awkward in our friend group, with first Adam and Jane splitting and our group dividing into two, and since then the group has gotten smaller after I split with James. He then went radio silent and messaged me about sorting our expenses. As we are long distance, we pay rent and groceries separately, but James comes to visit me once a month for the weekend or a few days, as my job doesn't allow me to visit him. Plane tickets are expensive, so we usually split the ticket cost with me paying more. James had planned to surprise me for my upcoming birthday and bought tickets for a week-long trip. He wants me to compensate him for the tickets in the normal proportion I usually cover, but I don't think this is fair as he booked those tickets and we aren't together anymore. He called me and was upset as the tickets aren't refundable or exchangeable, and if he does use them, he has no place to stay as I won't let him in because I am being stubborn. I am only considering paying to keep the peace, especially since our friend group has suffered. But my sister thinks I should just block him and find new friends in my area. I can afford to pay, and I know tickets are very expensive for James.
Fuck that. Keep your money, girl.
Fuck that guy. Here,
Yeah.
I've had
Sorry,
instances.
I'm gonna interrupt. This is one of those things where, for years, his family, and I'm talking about my ex, knew that he had been cheating on me, said nothing, and then when I found out and decided to walk away, I was the bad guy.
Yeah.
There were some people in his family that even threatened that I would not see my children again, ever, if I left just because he'd been sleeping around.
Yeah.
And when I finally did leave...
You're welcome.
When I finally did leave, it's like they were all up in arms, and it's like they tried spreading rumors about me and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I get two wrongs don't make a right. He cheated on me since the day after we got married.
But three rights make a left.
He cheated on me from the day after we got married.
I know.
Most of the way, if not all the way through the rest of the marriage.
Yeah.
I slept with 3 people.
Is one of them me?
After I found out he had been cheating on me.
Is one of them me?
Yep.
Yay.
You, a really good friend of mine, Josh, and Dean. Because I knew Dean would piss him off the most.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel where this girl is coming from.
Yeah.
They weren't even married yet. But the thing is like, you are going to keep that from somebody in the friend group just because you're loyal to the male of the friend group? Hell no. Wrong is wrong.
Yeah.
If you knew that she was having an affair, you would have had no problem blowing that out into the open. But because it was him having the affair, you kept your damn mouth shut. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on, buddy. You can eat the cost of those plane tickets and you can fucking sleep under the bridge on 2nd Street. I wouldn't give a shit. She don't need to be paying for nothing.
Nope.
You are definitely not the asshole girl. Keep your damn money.
Okay. So this might be going against a bro code or whatnot, and quite frankly...
Don't give a shit?
Don't care. But I don't give a shit how long I've known you.
Do you agree with me, though?
I don't give a shit if you're my sibling. I don't give a shit on if you are my blood brother, somebody who I've sworn to. Doesn't fucking matter.
I don't care if you're my mother or my father.
You cheat, and I find out about it, you better bet your fucking ass I'm going to be blowing that shit up. And I will be calling you out, and I will be the first person to sit there and go to your significant other and be like, hey, by the way.
Yeah.
And
I
you
don't
can
give a
try
shit.
to sit there and be like, well, I'll give you money if you don't say anything. Cool. I'll take the money.
And I'll still
And then
tell
I'll
them.
still go ahead and tell.
Yep.
I don't care.
And
You
then they
don't
will
do
know
that
exactly
shit.
how much money you tried to pay me to keep my mouth quiet.
Oh, I will buy dinner and be like, oh, by the way, this dinner is thanks to him because that's how much he paid me to keep this from you.
And that's the thing. I don't care who you are. You could be my mother. You could be my father. You could be one of my siblings. You could be my best friend in the world. If you are cheating on your significant other and I know about it, they're going to know about it too.
Yeah. And the thing that irritates me the most is he's like, well, I don't understand why you're so upset. Bitch, you went ahead, knew somebody was cheating, and didn't say anything. No.
I'd turn around and flip it on him. Okay, you don't understand why I'm upset? Say we were married and I had an affair and a bunch of our friends kept it from you because they were loyal to me. How would you feel?
Yeah.
Turn it on him.
As for the tickets, nah, bro. You bought those tickets knowing that y'all weren't together anymore.
No, he bought them before they split up. He bought them so far in advance. He was planning on surprising her for her birthday. He didn't tell her that he had purchased them because it was supposed to be a surprise.
Well, suck a dick, motherfucker.
And that's the thing. It's like,
Or here's a better idea. You find one of those friends, and you be like, hey, I have tickets to go here. Let me sell them to you.
yeah,
Or you find someone to sell them to.
yeah.
And you get...
Just
you might
because they're not
be able to
refundable doesn't mean they're not transferable.
Yeah. And just because you may not be able to get all of what you got, what you spent, doesn't mean you can't recoup some of it. Otherwise, you eat the cost of that shit, and you just pay the price for your own stupidity. Plain and simple. That's what it boils down to.
Like I said, not the asshole. Keep your money, girl.
Nope. So, some comments.
Dun, dun, dun.
Not the asshole. Buying non-exchangeable tickets for a surprise trip is a risk in any case. Whether or not he has a place to stay if he uses those tickets is also not your problem to solve. If you choose to send him some money, it would be a generous gesture, but you don't have to. And you don't have to discuss to friend group what the arrangements are. You can block him without removing all the other friends from your life, although it is probably time to start building more connections local to you who aren't friends with James. Somebody responded to that. James can stay with Dan.
Good point.
Another one, James should ask Dan to cover for half the cost since he was so loyal to Dan, and it cost him his girlfriend. Let's see how loyal Dan is to James. Let me see. Not the asshole. You broke up, so you don't owe James anything. Move on. But also, dear Lord, what an ass Dan is. For the affair and then expecting half of his friends to keep it a secret and then blowing up the entire friend group? Gross. Sad that James didn't have the same morals as you. Oh, man.
Yeah.
And let's see. Yeah. I'm trying to find a good one. All right. So the last one for this is not the asshole. This is probably far simpler than it seems if you take out the reason for the breakup. The tickets were bought while you were together, but the trip would be after. But it was intended as a birthday gift. Do people normally pay for birthday gifts proportionally, or just your LDR travel? Do people usually bill exes for birthday gifts if the relationship ends before the birthday? Still, you can clear yourself over the relationship and all entanglements in a way that fits your budget, so I would pay it, but this is am I the asshole, not should I?
Yeah.
So yeah, general consensus, nah girl, you ain't the asshole. You good. Fuck that asshole. Fuck him. Fuck him in the asshole.
Nah, I'd rather not.
No. But no, fuck that guy. For, like, I will hold secrets for people. That is no surprise for me.
Yeah.
That, on the other hand, that is a big enough secret. If it has the potential to blow up an entire friend group, no, that's not a secret worth keeping.
No, it's not. It would, if it's a secret that, if telling the truth is going to hurt somebody, that's not a secret worth keeping.
No. So no, you're not the asshole. But I do think that we should end it here.
Yeah.
So thank y'all so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. If you are listening to us on Spotify and you want to show your support, just hit the download button and let Spotify know that you like what you're hearing and you want to hear more coming out of our mouth holes. If you want to keep up to date on what's going on, or you have an opinion on a story that we talked about or something that we discussed, we are on Blue Sky. There is going to be a link in the description. You know, go ahead and follow us. Toss us a follow over there. It's free to sign up and free to use. You know, so just, you know, follow us. You can join in on a conversation. You can start a conversation. You can give your opinion on something. Or you can even ask us, hey, can you talk about this next time? If you would like to donate to the show, there is going to be a link in the description as well. You don't have to. It is always appreciated. And any little bit that does come in goes right back into making this show bigger and better than what we currently have it. But once again, thank y'all so much for listening. We really, really do appreciate you. And we hope that you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to love each other. And as always,
Don't be a dick.
don't be a dick.
Bye.
Bye, guys.